Hi everyone, hopefully everyone are doing well. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Yao Qingxi and my metric number is 195829. And today, I will bring to you a presentation on the topic of Zakat versus conventional taxation, which one is more fair. And before I jump into the main discussion, the main part of the discussion, which is about the fairness, and I would briefly explain about the definition of zakat and also tax. Okay, due to the time restriction, I will only point out some main points. Okay, what is zakat? Zakat is the third pillar of Islam, and it is regarded as a form of worship to God. Therefore, it is an obligation for all the Muslims who have financial ability to pay it. Okay, as for tax, according to the case of Matthews versus the Chicory Marketing Board, it is defined as a compulsory exaction of money by a public authorities, or we can call it as government, the government of a country. After they collect money from the citizen, then they will use it for public purposes, which is enforceable by law. For example, like to build hospital, schools, and also road. And next, I will be presenting on the differences between zakat and tax. Okay, the first one will be the concept. Okay, for zakat, the concept is being imposed by Al Quran and As Sunnah. While for tax, it is being imposed by government in order to collect money from person who is liable. For zakat, if the Muslim avoid from paying it, it will become a great sin, as Muslim believes that there will be a compensation day. As for tax, if the taxpayer avoid the payment, they will be penalized. Okay, the payment of zakat is only for Muslims, while the payment for tax is imposed on all the taxable person, regardless your ethnicity or your religion. Okay, for zakat, it is collected by registered zakat institutions, or we call it as amil. As for tax, it will be collected by tax authorities, or we call it as IRB in Malaysian context. Inland Revenue Board. Okay, the rate for zakat is fixed on 2.5% on a Muslim's total annual gross income if it is under one condition, if it is above a minimum amount that we known as nisab. As for tax rate, it normally will be a flat or scale rate. That meaning that it's fixed rate. As for scale rate, for example, like tax on individual income, they will be normally from 0 until 28%. Okay, and tax rate may varies on each year as it is based on government budgets or strategies. Okay, for zakat, the distribution is only to 8 categories of asnaf only, while for tax, it will be distributed to all activities which is needed by citizen. For example, like I already mentioned before, okay. Here comes to the main part of my presentation, which is the discussion on fairness of both systems. Okay, I already divided into two different aspects, and then the first one will be the collection of income. In Malaysian context, the government is very committed to encourage Muslim taxpayers to pay their zakat. Therefore, they will receive a tax deduction in forms of tax rebate, and it is also to lighten their burden. But even so, the zakat collection is relatively low, even if the population in that particular area is high. According to the statistic data that I managed to find, in year 2016, Lembaga Zakat Selangor state that over 2 million Muslims in Selangor, only 160,000 of people who paid their zakat to the zakat institution. And it's kind of a shocking report, as not even half of the population who paid it to the Lembaga Zakat Selangor. Meanwhile, the collection rate for tax is kind of high, and I strongly believe that this is probably due to the strict rule that is being imposed by IRB. So meaning that the people, for those who avoid from the payment of tax, they will be getting tax penalty. And as a conclusion, I can say that in terms of the collection of income, both system is fair enough. Although they met some problem in the amount of how many they managed to collect, but they still managed to do a great job in the way that they collect it. Okay, and now we'll be talking in the aspect of distribution of income. Okay, as I mentioned before, tax revenue collected by government will be equally distributed back to the citizen, and regardless of your ethnicity, your religion, as long as you are the resident in Malaysia or you are the citizen of Malaysia, you will be enjoying the tax revenue. Okay, but meanwhile for zakat distribution, there is some issue. As we all know that zakat will only distribute it to 8 categories of asnaf, and therefore there are some difficulties sometimes in deciding the qualification of an asnaf, and they have like some problems with poverty that is still happening even though zakat have been distributed to the 8 categories of asnaf. And the other things is that zakat allows the donors to choose their beneficiaries, which may lead to many zakat payers to give it to their relatives or friends who they think might are in need. But actually, like this may lead to some problems that they might overlook some people or communities that are really in need, like compared to their friends or relatives. Okay, and therefore, in my opinion, taxation system is much more fair in aspect of distribution. Finally, we have come to the final part of my presentation, which is the conclusion. Okay, as a conclusion, zakat and taxation are very different in terms of the concept, implementation, as well as the problems that arise from it. And according to my research, this may due to when the Muslim scholars stress that zakat as a religious duty is holy and divine. Or in another way, we can say that zakat system cannot be altered or reformed at all. As especially in the terms of which wealth that they will impose zakat on, the nisab, who are liable to pay it, the beneficiaries, and also the beneficiaries. None of these can be reformed at all, okay? So hence we can say that these two systems is kind of like difficult to define which one is much more fairer due to the most basic concept, which is like one can be altered and another one cannot at all. So I would like to like close this conclusion with final statement. Therefore, fairness of each systems will be hardly defined if you only focus on one aspect only without considering another aspect. Okay, that's all from me, and thank you for willing to listen to me until the end of my video. Thank you and bye bye.